Alrighty, so we are live today. It is my intentional parenting journey. And today we have Dr. Celestina Yusuf. I think Dr. Celestina must have been in all the sessions. Have you missed any since we started my intentional parenting journey?
I don't think I've missed more than two. Sometimes I have to go catch a replay. Then sometimes while it's on, I might be distracted. So later I now have to go and play it back so I can get everything.
Interesting because I've
So
seen
most
her
of them.
literally on almost all the session. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. I met Dr. Celestina once when I went to Asaba and when I met the Yadas. That will be my first meeting with her. And then I also met her husband, who is also a doctor as well. I wonder how they manage. But she's going to tell us today how they actually bill their time to be able to do what they do. All right. Thank you so much. Good morning. Good morning, anywhere you are. It is a beautiful Friday. I'm feeling myself. Of course, you can see already. All right. And it is that Friday morning that you love. So, my intentional parenting journey is a journey of inner circle parents who are sharing with us their journey. All right. Their journey to fame, I dare say. So, it will be Dr. Celestina sharing that journey. But let's start right away because we would not want to kill all of the time. So, how did you get to meet the intentional parent? How did you get to join Inner Circle? What exactly happened? Please talk to us.
Okay, good morning, coach. I must say I appreciate this opportunity to be here. I am grateful for the privilege. And coach, I want to say thank you, ma. You've been phenomenal in my life. You've really been a blessing God sent my way. I'm really grateful for you. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be a Yada. Well, how did I meet Inner Circle? How did I meet TIP? Sometime in 2021, funny enough, a friend of mine, Favor, she just told me casually that I should follow this page on Facebook. So she sent me the name of the page, Intentional Parenting Academy. So at that time was the no yelling challenge time. But it's like it had just ended before I joined on Facebook. But I'm not really much of a Facebook person. So sometimes I'll go to Facebook, I'll see some posts like that. So casually I'll see some posts like that, but I wasn't really following up. But then in 2022, that should have been around June,
All right. So, Dr. Celestina
like
is,
a
I think her
pro.
network is a bit okay. Go ahead, ma.
Okay. So the sex educate your child like a pro was being advertised then. And then I saw it. And sex education for me is something that is a touchy spot for me because of my experience growing up. And so I was like, I needed to teach my children about sex education, but I didn't know how to do it. So, but I was like, if this program would give me the exposure on how to do this, then I want to be in the program. So I signed up for that program. Before the program was over, nobody advised me to go and book my slot for Inner Circle. The things I heard, the things I saw, and then I got to know that if I join Inner Circle, it will help me, it will take me by the hand. And that's just what I needed. I needed somebody to take me by the hand and show me step by step. This is what to do. This is how to do it. So I booked my slots before the end of that Sex Educator Trial like a pro. Then by the time the parenting conference came for that year, I think Parenting Advantage, so one of the speakers shared her growing up journey of how she lost her sister eventually. I think coach can remember that story. I can't remember the coach's name right now. And then I was like, this is the best choice I made to just join the inner circle because maybe before then I didn't know that there was anything like a parenting accountability group. So I said, this is really where I need to be. So that was how I joined the inner circle. I booked my slots. Then by later that year, I completed the payment and joined the inner circle. So till today, okay, there was a day, some days back, I sent Favor a message. I said, Favor, thank you for linking me up with CIP. You don't know what you did for me. Well, you were just an instrument God used to
Mm,
help me, to save me from messing up my parenting journey. So that was how I joined the inner circle.
amazing. I've had people buy gifts for people who introduce them to the inner circle. In fact, sometimes
Yes, so
somebody made
you
cake and
reach
sent it
coach.
across. Somebody make cake and sent across state and say, you know what, my friend, I
Mm-hmm.
just want to
Yes, now.
like this is it. And I can see that Dr. Yusuf is here to pepper us this morning. Please, where's my husband? Come to the comment section too. I cannot be peppered. I refuse this morning to be peppered by husband.
Coach are the
I
chief of
refuse.
peppery. You are the chief of peppery, ma.
I refuse. This man has come. The first thing he posted here is good to be on board, listening to my beautiful wife. Oh God, please now. The pepper is
Oh
too much.
my
Thank you so much. It's good to have you here, Dr. Yusuf. Thank you, Dr. Celestina, for joining us. Dr. Celestina,
Thank
so
you, ma.
this is a question that I'm sure that a lot of people want to jump into. You are a medical practitioner, your husband is. I have practiced in the hospital a while. I know what it looks like. I've heard a lot of people, oh, okay, she's off again. I've heard quite a number of people, I'm sure she's going to come up. Quite a number of people say, I'm busy. Can I? All of the I cannot, will not be able to meet up and all of that. I'm sure that Dr. Celestina Yusuf will be back to tell us how she's been able to manage her time, being in the inner circle and become productive with the things that she's learning in the inner circle. That's the beautiful thing about my intentional parenting journey. You actually get to hear from people who share similar stories with you, people who share who have similar narratives. So I'm sure that, in fact, the other day I said that we're going to have an association of inner circle medical doctors because it's as if there is a whistle, for the last cohort, and we should have over 300 to 500 of them, and it's actually very interesting. So I am sure that there are a lot of people who have similar circumstances who are listening and saying, would this be my fit? If I join this community, will I be able to cope? All right. Yes, Dr. Yusuf, I see you. Thank you. I'm sure she will. Thank you so much for that update. Will I be able to cope? Will I be able to, put all of that? That's why we're bringing different people from different walks of life so that you're not going to say, oh, it's just a particular group of people that in this place. So everybody who is in this system, everybody who is a parent working in every sector will be able to identify with whoever it is, all right, that that you it's like you, right, and you're trying to join in. I try to bring one of the fathers who is in the military. We're looking to for dates so that he will be able to come up and also share his journey about being a military dad and also being in the inner circle and what the inner circle have done for him and how he's been able to manage his time. All right, Dr. Celestina is back. Thank you so much. Sorry about that. I see that the network is trying to try you this morning. Can you hear me? Okay, I think that she's still, battling with her network. But of course, you are logged on to my intentional parenting journey, and my intentional parenting journey is a journey of parents who are in the inner circle program, who come on board to share their journey of being the intentional parent. And being an intentional parent is not just, by wishes, by wants. It is through serious work. And these parents are here sharing with us serious works. And we've had over 20 parents share their journey since we started on the 1st of September. It was yesterday where we had Blessing. All right. Blessing was here yesterday sharing with us on her journey, amazing journey. She's a toddler mom, and her journey had been, it was so inspiring. And that was where we got the word. Yadarikali. Yadari. In fact, that was my highlight yesterday. All right. Somebody said it is done yadarically. That was what Blessing said. Okay, so Dr. Celestina, you're back. Thank you so much. And sorry about that. Can we hear you?
Sorry about the network. Yeah, can you hear me,
Oh,
ma?
oh, loud and clear. So I was asking, right? Oh,
Hello, ma. Can you
okay.
hear me?
Well, loud and clear, ma'am. Loud and clear. Can you hear us? Okay, I guess that she is still looking to fix that, and I'm sure she's going to be here back here soon. So sorry about that. All right, next time we're going to actually begin to build our own in 7G so that we're not going to be going off and on. So so yesterday we had Blessing. Blessing was the one who shared with us how to yadarically be present. Omo, that session was everything you can imagine. He had all the vibes, he had all the jokes, he had all the fun. In fact, everything about that session, was just amazing. And if you have not been watching or catching up on my intentional parenting journey, you want to actually be there. You want to actually listen to different perspective. I am giving to perspective. So anything that has to do with learning, all right, perspective teaching and learning is a giving for me. All right. So I think Dr. Celestina is back. Are you back now? Is it
I
better
am.
now?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about the network glitches.
No, it's fine. It's fine. All right. So let us go on. I was asking a question and I said, we want to know, you are in the one of the professions in the world today that people will say, no, no, there's no time. You cannot do these things. It's only people. In fact, some people actually think that the inner circle is only for people who do
Jobless
not have what. It makes me laugh. So you are a medical practitioner, your husband is a medical practitioner. I have had the privilege of, practicing, for a time in the hospital. And I understand what it can be for doctors. So I wanted to share with us, number one, how do you manage your time? Number two, how have you been able to navigate, through work and through parenting and through being a wife as well? Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, there's a webinar you taught on time management. So, but before then, for me, I have always felt that there are some things that are very important. There are some things that cannot wait. And then
Mm,
from coming from where I'm from, growing up, there's a whole lot of things that my growing up family got wrong, so to say. Now, I'll usually say that my younger one is an example of a parenting error. So
mm,
I knew that there were some things I did not want to have to contend with. And there's something you usually say, coach, that an unskilled child will burden you. Now,
yeah.
my younger one, he burdens not just my mother, but all of us.
Mm,
So I didn't want to have to do that. I don't want to have to stress myself in my old age, thinking of where is this one now? Has he eaten? Will he bath? No. So I knew that I needed to do something different. I needed to do something out of the ordinary. And then my husband's family too. My husband has his own background, his own growing up, his own, So both of us really had some things we were already contending with from our
mm,
background. So we knew that we just have to do something differently. And with our
mm,
children, we don't want to make. My mom will usually say something that every family has a black sheep. And I usually tell her, I said, this thing you say is just to make yourself feel good. Because I don't think every
mm,
family must have a black sheep. I don't think so.
mm,
And then I looked at my three children. I have a 7, a 5, and a 3-year old. And I looked at three of them. I said, which one will I want to be a black sheep among these three? No,
mm,
I don't have that luxury of sacrifice. So I needed to do something differently. And then coming into the inner circle provided that opportunity. I usually say that when something is important enough, we'll make time for it. So for
that's it.
me, parenting is important enough. In fact, I think it's the most important thing right now in my life. And then
Mm,
before I got into my residency training, I was thinking, I said, which discipline will afford me some time for my family? As at then, I hadn't thought of the weight of parenting completely, but I knew that I didn't want a discipline that ties me up so much that I don't have time to be with my family. So the discipline I went into, family medicine, was one that I knew, okay, somehow I'll be able to juggle out some time to raise my children. So that's the thing. So more often than not, I have to squeeze it somehow, manage my day. But then before the inner circle, I wasn't intentional. So I'll come back from work. I'm at home. The children are at home. But it just seemed like everybody is doing their thing. My children are there in the parlor watching TV. I'm there, either I'm reading or I'm pressing phone. That connection wasn't there. So I knew that I wasn't getting it yet because the
mm,
children I'm supposed to be bringing up, they are there. I'm here. Everybody is doing their
mm,
thing. I come back from work
mm,
and it's like, okay, there was a webinar you taught on who am I parenting, and then that systematic personality, it just describes me. The only thing you didn't call is my name. So I'm this person that I love routine. I'm quick to criticize. So as I'm coming into the parlor or I'm coming in from work, the first thing I'm noticing is this person, why is your shoe here? Why didn't you close the door when you passed? So I'm already bickering, I'm already biting as I'm entering from work. And it wasn't working, it wasn't helping. And my daughter is a sensitive personality. My daughter, very
Mm.
sensitive. So imagine me, the critic, raising a sensitive daughter. So it just wasn't
Mm.
working. So I needed to do something differently. But Inner Circle just broke it down for me and then took me by the hand to complete all these processes of connection. So now that's bickering me. I said, okay, I was telling somebody, I said the emotions challenge. I said if it's done 5 times a year, I will subscribe for it 5 times a year because I know where I'm coming from. I know the lions have been chasing me and they cannot catch me, coach. They cannot catch me. So that's how I've been managing somehow. Because for me, my children, they are priority. They are priority. I don't want to make the same mistake my
Amazing.
parents.
Amazing. I like the way Fejuros put it. Fejuro Ajo and Joseph Ajo have been here. I think they've also been in these sessions every day. All right. And then there is seconds. You know, there are some yadas that are very yadaric. Fejuro said when something is important enough, you will make
You
time
make
for it.
time for it.
And that's my own story. That's my own stand. That's how when people say, "Oh, I don't have time, I'm busy," and all of that, I usually would say that my husband did banking for 18 years, and in his 18 years of banking, his family came first. Every other thing, there are some things that were lost along the way, yes, but my husband would say that there is always something to sacrifice. Yesterday we're talking about sacrifices and we're talking about enslaving yourself. And I said we're slaves to something every time at every point in time. The question
Mhm.
is, what is that thing? And many of the
It's left.
times, the question is, what are we sacrificing? And many of the times, when you really think about it, our children are the burnt offering.
Yes.
Many of the times. Many of the times. So you find out that for men, you are having your fun, you're doing your thing, but your children, the time for your children is not there. You watch football 8 hours in a week, yet you say you don't have time.
You don't have time.
It is interesting. Yes, you watch Telemundo, BB Niger, whatever it is that you guys watch, and you still come out and say, I don't have time.
Don't have
You chat
time.
with old school mates, right? And you have your old school association, you're chatting
Hang
for two,
out.
3 hours. You still come out and you say you don't have time. Now you can see that 24 hours is enough for everybody. The choices are for every single one of us to make. All right. So we have Dr. Celestina Yusuf sharing with us on my intentional parenting journey. She's sharing with us her journey in practicality. So, Dr. Celestina, when you got into the inner circle, what was the first thing that hit you? What was the first thing that you saw and you were like, hey, where have I been?
Eh, hmm. You see that induction webinar, ma? You see that induction? The fire there. Hey God. The webinar, that induction webinar. Hmm. So first of all, the webinar I was like, okay. It was like a child in Disneyland, there's a lot of things. Oh wow, TIP, this is what it's all about. Wow. And then reality dawned on me. I said, who sent me? Like, so you mean there's somebody that'll be hounding me to ensure that I do what I ought to do? I was like, hey, who sent me? So, but I said, okay, when I think of the costs and the benefits, is a price that I should pay. So I was like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. And then I think there are some things that you need to do before you can
Okay, I think Dr. Celestina is having a bit of a network issue. Yesterday I was having a review with a Yada, and one of the things that she said to me was that, Coach, after the induction, I felt like, wow, I have used my money to buy myself into this system. How do I do it? All right, Celestina, back to you. You
yeah,
were
I
off for a
know the
while.
feeling, ma. You see that feeling of yes, I'm sorry. That feeling of Shebi, who sent me as it Shebi, I don't go use my money buy problem. That was the way I felt. But I said, okay, if with the accountability and the promise that connection tools is broken down, I felt okay, I can do this. Let me try. I can do this. So I got in and I had to counsel myself. Huh? Ma, can you hear me?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, ma, I can hear you, ma.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. So I felt I could do this somehow. Since I'm in, I'm already in. I might as just get ready for the battle.
I think we
Hello,
have
ma.
lost you again, Dr. Celestina.
Can you hear me, ma? I can hear
Yes, I
you.
can hear you. You were. Go ahead. Please go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, ma. So the induction was it for me. That was the first thing that hit me. And then when I calmed down a bit, I had to reassure myself and encourage myself that the journey is far, but I shall travel it.
So when you started traveling the journey, what did you see?
Yes. Okay. One of the first connection tools we did was to write a note to our children. That was the first time in my life I was writing anything to my children. Ma, the responses I got from my children, honestly, I can't trade it for anything. I wish I got it on camera. The wow,
Hmm.
mommy, my son. As in, I was like, where have I been? How did it take me so long to do this? So honestly, but that encouraged me. I was like, okay, this thing is making sense. So that's how I started moving. And then there was another one that same December, the pillow talk. So when we did the pillow talk, it was something that was new to them. So everybody was still, this mommy, are you sure? Are we safe? But subsequently, it's now something they look forward to. So the pillow talk is something that, in fact, wherever I am, once it's nearing 6 p.m., which is around their dinner and their bedtime, me myself, I'm looking forward to it because I want to go and hear. I want to connect. I want to be with them. So far, it's been one amazing discovery after another. The me that started TIP, that started inner circle in December, is not the me seated here, ma. My mindset,
Hmm.
like I typed one time in the comment section. I said, inner circle gives you a 360 transformation, as in round about. So my mind has transformed. My thoughts, everything has now transformed. So it's not beyond my children, beyond.
Work ethic. So all these things are some benefits I've yielded that I've gotten being in the inner circle. Hello, ma. Almost, I see you. Hello, coach. Hello, coach. Seems you're muted, ma.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, ma, I can hear you, ma.
Okay, great. All right. Did you finish what you were saying? I think both
Yes,
of us
yes,
were,
yes, I
you
did.
know.
So I said basically inner circle
Okay.
has been a 360 transformation, 360-degree transformation. My life, like everything, has transformed because I'm in the inner circle.
All right, thank you so much. You are live with me, right? And Dr. Celestina Yusuf, and she is a parent in the inner circle. By the way, I can see that. Okay, so Dr. Yusuf too is also here, trying to pepper us from the comment. I even saw himself trying to come and do Night in Shining Armor when she was having network issues, as if she was going to I think you are going to become the network. Oh, Shesa, we can see you. Yeah. Oh my God. So this is so interesting. Dr. Celestina is sharing her journey in the inner circle. Get at it so that you can have the time to actually express a whole lot. Can you share with us where has being in the inner circle moved you in literal terms, in practical terms, from this point to this point? For your children, for you, for your spouse, for your marriage, whichever angle you want to take it from.
Okay. I mentioned earlier, okay, my daughter, she's this sensitive person, and her love language is physical touch.
Hmm.
So me, don't touch me. I don't like touching. So my love language is not anywhere
Hmm.
near physical touch. So she's this one that wants to. In fact, in school they used to say she's one of the chief huggers. They want to give award for the people that hug a lot. My daughter wins the award. So, because I'm not a touching person, I never used to hug her. I never used to hug my children. In fact, hugging for me is maybe mommy traveled, or we're coming back after a long time apart. So that's hugging. We don't just hug like, but now hugging is now a normal thing in our house. So because like inner circle took me through the healing from parenting trauma. So I knew I needed to sign up for that course because I know what I've been through. So I needed to heal. And with healing, I'm now able to do some things that were things I couldn't have done, like hugging, words of affirmation. My son, he just wants to hear you encourage him. He wants to hear you blow his trumpet. But these were not things I used to do easily. So, but with joining Inner Circle has now taught me that these are things that make children know you love them. Beyond
Hmm.
what you say, I love you, beyond expecting that they should know because you provide breakfast, you pay for their fees, you take them to take ice cream. That's not for them. It's in their own language. So now I'm able to speak love to them in a
Hmm.
language they understand. So now
Hmm.
my son can come to me and hug me, and he's not expecting to be pushed away. Because before, as you're coming, I'm like shifting you, as in, my guy, go and do something else. But my
Hmm.
son now knows that he can come to me and hug me. My daughter now knows that she can come to me and sit on my lap or stay on my tummy, and she's not expecting to be pushed away. So that's one thing. Then another thing is, my daughter used to struggle with reading.
Hmm.
At the time I was like, is there a problem? Is there something wrong?
With two
So
smart people in the house.
you can imagine. I said,
I know the
no,
feeling.
now it's an error. So now learning style course. I said, okay. You see, Mama, ignorance is a bastard, though. Sorry to use that language. Ignorance is bad. I said, okay, really? This was it all along? So what I
Hmm.
did, I went to go and buy books. You will usually say that in the inner circle, you will buy books. Ma, I bought books, several kinds of books. So part of before our pillow talk, we will read together. So I now started reading to them. I now read to her. Everybody is there. We are reading. So I just noticed that suddenly I was like, okay, this used to be a challenge. Now my daughter can read freely. Even her class teacher was asking me that, Ma, what did you do? What did you do differently? I said, I had to put in the work. I had to invest time. I had to do something. And now the girl compete. In fact, in the morning, if they wake up before me, when you go to the parlor, you see them reading. The reading is now too much. Now me can't they beg. So that's the transformation there. Honestly, I don't know. I can't put it into words.
Hmm.
Then my son he used to struggle with routine. My son is somebody that if you tell him this is what to do next, you're talking your own. But the book Connect to Correct taught us that you cannot correct somebody you have not connected with. So now I've connected with him. Now I don't even need to talk plenty. You see, this thing usually say that yelling in the morning before going to school is not a norm. Ma, I can now relate. I
Hmm.
shouldn't yell before they go to school. What am I yelling for? For two reasons. One is unnecessary. Two, it destabilizes the children for the day.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
am I yelling for? So now when structures are in place, some things are easy. So now
Hmm.
my children know that, okay, 5:30 to 6, it's time to go into the kitchen to start preparing food. 6:30 to 7, it's time to go and start getting your bath ready. By 7, we are in the room. Another thing I used to struggle with was, okay, it's time to go to bed. They will lie down on the bed. They'll be making noise. They'll be gisting. 8, 9. And then I'll ask myself, okay, these people that went to bed early, they still didn't sleep early. So Inner Circle has taught me that when you have rules in place, you have actions and consequences. So all of us agreed on consequences. So we agreed on, if you do this instead of this, this is the consequence. So now that one is no longer a struggle. We no longer have to struggle about it. So that one just corrected itself naturally. Then, okay, the last graduation, the way they kept on calling my children's name. My first son, they call his name, he will come out. Before he gets to his seat, they're calling him for another award. As he's getting to his seat, they're calling him for another award. My daughter, the same thing. So a parent that was sitting in front, and when they call their name, I'm a noisy person. I will now scream. Hey! So I was showing myself. So two parents in front of me were like, now how did I do this thing? Now, how come my children are getting so many awards? And then I started talking. The one beside me said, did I get lesson teachers for them? I said, no. Lesson teachers, never. I said, I belong to the Inner Circle, and there are certain things Inner Circle has taught us. So I just put these things in place. You see these puzzles, Legos, building blocks. Like I said, ignorance is bad, ma. Ignorance is bad. My son used to struggle with focus. I got puzzles. We will now sit down. When we initially started, he would do half, he will disappear. Now, he will sit down, he'll finish 204 pieces puzzle. I said the next one we're getting now is 500 pieces. So all those puzzles, building blocks, and I got crossword searches. So all these things helped them. So the following day, when we went for their results in school, another parent saw me, this time a father. He said, ma, please, can you tell me those things you did that made them to be calling your children so many times for award? I started explaining, like you said, ma, stop telling them he's God. Tell them the tool God used. So I told them, I said, this is what I did. This Inner Circle, what do you do there? I started explaining. This is what we do. Connection, this one. Say, okay, no wonder. So these are some things Inner Circle has helped with my children. Then personally, I think one of the major challenges I have is with my emotions.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Can you hear me, ma?
Yes, I can. You were
My
off a
husband will say,
bit.
when you want to describe a melancholy personality, it's my wife. I'm this melancholy. So my melancholy is 100/1%. So, and then I had issues with emotions management. So sometimes you will see me, I'll just be moody. I'll just wake up and be moody. So, but now, then if I'm irritated, I'm quick to react. The way I'm feeling, I just act it out immediately. So, but belonging to the Inner Circle has now taught me to be in charge of my emotions. So I'm not there yet. I haven't gotten there yet. Like you usually say, it is a journey. It is a process. So now at least I'm able to recognize, okay, right now I'm feeling frustrated. Right now I'm feeling overwhelmed. Right now I'm feeling angry. This is the reason. This is what I can do. This is what I should do. So that's one thing. I even remember then I almost got into trouble with one of my superiors because there was something he said and me, I was quick to give it back, and then the next thing I got query. I said, good, you're doing well. So, but now I now know there are better ways to manage certain things. There are better ways to manage my emotions. So chief among the things Inner Circle has done for me personally, and of course in my marriage, is being aware of my emotions. And so when I'm aware of my emotions, I can now manage how I react. So that's it. And then, spiritually, okay, I had this Apollo some days ago, and my children, in fact, during the night prayers, they usually pray first and then we pray later. And then I heard my son saying, Lord, please heal mommy of the Apollo disturbing her eyes. So it just showed me that we are now more intentional because they now know that you pray about everything. Because they have a tummy ache, and then the first thing mommy or daddy does is you are healed in Jesus' name before we start talking of bringing drugs. So they now know that, okay, we pray about everything. And so personally, it has also helped me. So I now have this consciousness that being a Christian is not just in words. It should be in my thoughts and in my actions. So basically, inner circle for me personally has been a mind transformation. You usually say that parenting is about you. So
Mm.
parenting is about me. So it was me that was the problem all along. And when I started to work on me, my mind, the benefits just naturally followed. So that's how it has been for me.
Amazing. And I'm sure that so many of us can relate to so many areas that Dr. Yusuf has shared her story from. Interestingly, when she was sharing the story of having a child who couldn't read, I've been in those shoes. And that's why I could relate. When you have two smart people married and you're looking at your child, the child cannot read, you're wondering, I don't understand. If it's by gene, you have the express gene to be reading from your womb, man. What's wrong with you? And you can
Uh-uh.
actually easily get frustrated if you do not understand what it is that you need to do and what it is and how you're supposed to do it. So we have Dr. Celestina sharing her journey. I said that Dr. Yusuf Yakub came here to pepper us. You can see, Ba. It's okay, sir. We can see you. Continue to pepper us. We are coming. I'll go and bring my own husband because this is getting out of hand. He's just in the comment section, just peppering us, and the team is bringing up his comments and peppering us the more. We see you and really thank you. Your husband says that you've been a blessing to him in parenting better. That's what we are talking about. How has the inner circle transformed your marriage? Your husband is here.
So I was asking him some days ago. I said, now what do you think what difference do you think there is now in me compared to who I was before? And then he now says that um okay, one of them, like I mentioned earlier, is I'm now more in charge of my emotions. So all those extremes of mood swings, I'm now more conscious of them. And so when they come, I'm better able to, okay, this is not what it should be. As in, because truly a woman's mood determines the mood in the home. So I'm now more conscious of the fact that if you are moody, you're carrying a long face everywhere, somehow it's going to spill and affect every other person. So because of that, I'm trying to now control my emotions, all those mood swings that are typical of the melancholy. I don't know which kind of problem that one is. So, but now I'm more conscious of it. I'm consciously working on it. So with my emotions control, I know for in marriage, emotions is a lot because it
Yeah,
determines how you communicate, how you it
yeah.
determines everything. So
Mm.
basically, that emotions thing is one of the things that, because I'm working on it, there has been some changes. Like I said, I'm not there yet. There's a whole lot more that I need to achieve, but I'm not where I used to be. So mostly it's my emotions. So it has improved, of course, our interaction. Now you can see that in fact, Mama, when you came to Asaba, you could see
Mm.
that he came around. That's how much he's now more invested in my activities. And I was telling somebody, I said, somehow God chose to bless me with the kind of man I married because I don't know, he's just a blessing to me. He supports me, and the way he trusts me, sometimes I'll be like, and I don't think it should be. And I'll be like, no, I trust you. I trust your capability. I trust your decision. And so, when somebody trusts you like that, it gives you the push. So it
Yeah.
just pushes me. Even when I told him I signed up for Inner Circle, he was like, okay, I think it's a good one that I should be going. My husband has subscribed to join the Inner Circle with the next cohort. That's how far he's in it. He can see the change. He can see the difference. That's how much he now knows that, okay, there's really something happening. I did not need to quarrel. I didn't need to
Mm.
shout. So
That's it.
naturally, results have shown him that, okay, there's something that they're doing there that is really
Mm.
making sense. And it's the person closest to you that can be your biggest critic. So the fact that he has joined really convinces me that there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to benefit.
Mm. Amazing. Your
So
husband will
that's
not.
how it's been for me maritally.
Today, you say my head is swelling. Oh, God, take your flowers. We cannot even collect. We cannot even fight you in this session. It's as if you came for this session in the background. It's okay. Be coming into the inner circle. Yeah, that fire.
Preparing
But
us.
we are waiting for you. Thank you. And I love what Dr. Celestina said. She said, I didn't need to fight. I needed my result to speak for me. For me, That is, they are even promising you free lunch. Now, wow, this session today, I'm in trouble. Dr. Yusuf, please now.
Doctor Yusuf, please now.
So, at the end of the day, you find out that many of the times we're fighting wars we have no business fighting.
True.
We're fighting the wrong way. We're fighting with our strength, and whenever we're talking in, especially in the talking with the masterpiece women, I always say, you know what, femininity is strength. You don't take it the wrong way, right? You have all the strength. You have the strength to make a life and to give life and to take life.
To take life.
Conversation for another day. So it is so clear that you can actually convince someone. In school, Dr. Celestina said people were coming to her and come and say, "What are you doing? Come and tell us." It is so visible. See, results can bail you. I said yesterday that a man with experience has no argument with a man with an argument. None.
Yeah.
You are not in any place. You're not saying, no, it's a lie. The experience, your result speaks. All right. Dr. Celestina, you see now people are now asking their husbands for lunch in the comment section.
Doctor
Dr.
Happiness.
is asking Professor Chris Sweken for lunch. I don't understand these women. So you joined the popping wives association of the inner
Okay,
circle.
yes, now I have to pop.
It's your time to pop. Happiness, stop peppering us. It's okay. So, when it comes to your journey, especially for us, there's something about being a woman that gives you an illusion of power. You have the power, yes, but it gives you this power that you're going to just. So once you have a child, there's something that happens to you. You become more powerful. Yes, you actually
Yeah.
become. And then, unfortunately, that can actually split, two ways. You also begin to see yourself as somebody who can, you created life. I don't know if I'm sure women feel that way. You look at a child, you're like, wow,
Mhm.
this came out of me. Like, yeah,
Yes, now.
there's one power it just gives you. So it gives you that. That's why many women are controlling. Many women can, so it gives you that superiority thing. Yes. And then, yes, God made all of this for a reason. But of course, many of the times, it can also now, slip over. Now, the thing is, when women now begin to learn and now begin to learn more and know more with being a mother, Omo is a combination that can, in fact, that can go. Hey, if you
And
do not
destroy
now
things.
learn how to actually present your message, how to actually go through, to actually be able to get your partner to learn, you now become like, in fact, your husband will do something. You say, "What are you even doing? Look at you." I mean, you will literally like feel like, this person. You now get to a point where you're saying, this person is no longer my standard. That's it. We're not on the same level.
I'm on the same level again.
So it is an intentional work. I'm saying this to women because I know how it is, because I love that Dr. Celestina brought this part of the conversation where she said, I didn't need to fight. I didn't, of course, this also had a lot to do with the kind of husband that you have. But beyond that is also understanding that you cannot fight. You know, you don't fight your spouse, right? You don't fight your spouse for not knowing. So even me being the professional parent coach in my house, there are many times that something decision is supposed to be made, parenting, and then my husband makes a decision. I know that that decision, maybe if we do it the other way, maybe it can actually give us a better result. I don't bother. And then we go and then we follow and then we do the one, and when we get to the end, and many of the times he will turn and say, this thing, should we have done it this way? I'm like, yeah, actually we should have actually put this. So imagine that he comes and says something, and I say, no, how can you do that? No, 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 I am the professional here. Oshe. Of course,
Professor.
anybody, see, anybody at all is going to attack naturally. So you don't fight for not knowing. And many of the times I've seen my husband do that a lot. So many times I don't know something, he will just say, "Oh, okay, don't worry, just do it. Provided nobody's going to die, provided nothing is going to be lost, provided it's not going to hamper on the child's psychology or emotions or whatever." Yeah, I'm like, oh, we're all on a learning journey. So if you understand that you're on a learning journey, then you stop this. I have learned. My husband has not learned. So
Mhm.
therefore, he's now stupid for
Now
not learning.
beneath me.
He's now beneath me. I know it all and all of that. It will always backfire. Many of the times, most of the times, that is one of the reasons a lot of men even fight listening to women. Women can be really I know we can be very, very a lot. A conversation for another day. But my point is, don't fight it. I know that a lot of people are listening to us who have struggles with their husband joining. Some people will join the inner circle and then they go to their husband. You must join. If you don't join, that's why you're making all these mistakes. It's because you are not in the inner circle. If you're in the inner circle, then you now go and give me bad name. Child, they will now see me. That your husband will now see me. I'll be talking. They'll not say that stupid woman. Is she not the one? The stupid coaches. They don't want to collect your money. They will not be abusing me in your house for your name's sake, not me. Oh. Please help me. Eh? Don't let them abuse me. My name is I have a very good name. Don't let them abuse me, because when you go, just do it subtly. Sometimes you might
Okay.
not even have to mention anything. In fact, your result will so speak that he will call you and say, what's happening? Why are you now no longer talking? Eyada told me that the husband made a mistake. They were going to lose a lot of money. And, she said she was calm. She said if it's before, that the whole world will hear. She will call the mother, she will call everybody. She said she was so good. They run a farm. She said she was so calm. When the thing was done, she said she supported him. It was a mistake. And the husband said, hey, I want to know what happened to you. The husband said he was not sleeping well, knowing how she would have reacted. The husband said, I want to know what happened to you. The woman said, it's my coach. Oh, I've mentioned it before. But he didn't really pay attention. He said, please, where is the coach? I want us to go and book a session with her. I want to listen to her. Don't give me a bad name, please. I'm begging you guys. Don't beat me. Don't give me. You don't fight anybody for not knowing. Even if you're a man. I have a man who is elderly in the inner circle, whose wife is fighting the narrative. And it's the same thing. So please, whoever it is, whether you are the man in the academy or you're the woman, you're listening, don't fight your spouse. Work so hard that your result will be so glaring. See how Dr. Celestina was being asked in children's school in the house. Dr. Yusuf just said something and she said, this one has transformed my parenting. This guy, who am I blind? It's more or less like, I'm not blind. I can see. All right. I just said, I'm sure the Holy Spirit wanted me to say this to somebody. I have been summoned plenty times, and husbands wondering, my wife is now overboard, is now talking. No, you did not learn this because your family grew up like that. This, Biko, no. Help your coach. Help me. All right, so back to you, Dr. Celestina. We are live on my intentional parenting journey with Dr. Celestina Yusuf, who lives in Asaba, and with her husband, Dr. Yusuf Yakub, who has been peppering us in the comment section. If you're just joining us, just know that I have beef for Dr. Yusuf today, and I'm waiting for you. I will. Maybe you are coming in 2024. I'm waiting for you. All right. Thank you so much for being here. So we're talking about her journey in the inner circle, and I want to ask, what will be that webinar? That webinar that you listen to many times. Okay, maybe you can try one, two, three webinars. Many times people say, I don't even know which one to pick. But what's that one? That one that you finish and you're like, my life, what has happened to me? Over to you, ma'am.
Is a difficult one.
Oh, we have Dr. Celestina off, and I am sure that she's going to get back to the conversation. We're talking about the inner circle webinars. The inner circle webinars are life. Somebody said their life, as in, and that's the truth. Their life, they just speak into you. And one of the things that the inner circle does to you with these webinars is that when you're done, you are able to conceptualize. So the inner circle is not a theory system. I do not like the fact that we go to school in Nigeria and we're just theorizing many of the things that we learn. The inner circle is a system that actually gives you access to tangible knowledge. Over to you, Ma, you're back.
Okay, sorry, ma'am. So the
Yes.
webinar, one of the most profound for me was the time management webinar. Before I used to be like, I'm so busy. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. Like I mentioned, when I come home after work, I'm at home. I'm busy, but I'm not doing what is useful.
Hmm.
So like I'm in the house. So I may be my husband complain. I used to play this game on my phone, Candy Crush. Meanwhile, I'm complaining I don't have time. I
That's
play
so.
Candy Crush. My time will go. After that time management class, you see, Candy Crush and Instagram were my major problems in this life.
Hmm.
After that time management class, I sat down. I said, wait, you say you don't have time. And I went to this, there's this app that tells you how much time you spend on each app. So I went to that page. What I saw, I said, okay, this is what is eating my time. And then I started on following. There was something you said that we are following the people we are following on Instagram. I started on following. I unfollowed though. So after, and then you said something. You said balance is a myth. So that webinar, it now made me prioritize. Even my husband was saying it some days ago. He said, I'm now able to prioritize what is more important. So for me, certain things are now more important than others. Now there was even a session that Coach Omolola did, Seasons of Life. And then that book, Connect to Correct, there was something you mentioned that your boss said to you, that your children will not always be this age. I thought to myself, I said, okay, these my children, they are growing. Time is passing. What am I doing with the time that I have now?
Hmm. Okay, Dr. Celestina is off again, but I'm sure she's going to be back again. Talking about time management. A lot of the times people tell me I don't have time. When you think about it, everybody who says I don't have time actually are poor time managers. Every single person who say that. So, people say, oh, it's 24 hours. 24 hours is enough if you understand what it is that you are actually doing. Very many times you're busy but very unproductive. She talked about playing Candy Crush. In fact, I know many parents who say, I don't have time. They talk about you're on Instagram 3 hours, you're scrolling. I remember at that time management class, I had told the parents in the inner circle that I don't spend my average time on Instagram is 1 hour, 15 minutes, except for the days I have a live session on Instagram. 1 hour, 15 minutes, averagely, standard. The day it passes 1 hour, 15 minutes, then there's a problem. It means that I have a problem. And meanwhile, this is me who work on social media. I remember that, that conversation with my boss one of those times, and he was attacked by a senior colleague, and he told the senior colleague, said, "Well, your children have passed this stage, but I want to sow what I want to sow, so that when I leave this stage of my life, I would not have regrets." Over to you, Dr. Celestina.
Yeah, so that the time management webinar was one of the major ones that really hit me. So I now had to prioritize several things, top of which right now is my children. Now, the creating a social roadmap for your Gen Z was another webinar that shook me. Now, I mentioned earlier that I'm this typical melancholy. So I'm a loner.
Hmm.
As in, I love my space. I can be in a place, nobody will know that I'm there. That is just, I love my space. So I'm not somebody that associates a lot with people. But when I finished listening to that webinar, and I said, see, I'm doing not just myself a disservice, but my children. So now had to become more intentional about reaching out to people, the kind of people that I want to be in my space, the kind of people I feel I share similar values with. Because, like you said, it is not pride, it is self-preservation. I cannot
Mm,
finish doing all this work and my children go to rot because I was not more intentional in teaching
mm,
them certain things. And there was something you said in that webinar about the four flaws that I will not always be the most influential person in my child's life. That word, anytime it plays in my head, man, it moves me to action because
mm,
I'm like, okay, this first 7 years, this is the only time I have to be the most influential voice in my children's head. So what am I doing with this time? Is it when they get to I have there's a friend that is in battle with his teenager. In fact, recently somebody met me and said his son is 13, the son is now very rebellious, he's always banging the door on him and all of that. And me, I know I don't have strength to fight. So now
mm,
that my children are still within the age range of when I'm the most influential voice in their head, what am I
mm,
doing with this time? So I can't afford
mm,
to be playing. So I'm now more intentional about reaching out. And now in our pillow talk, one of the things we always do is to reiterate family values. Ma,
mm,
writing out my family values was one of the best things Inner Circle did for me. So I can see the vision. It is there. Everybody can see it. So now I'm intentionally communicating this thing to my children. I'm teaching them how to choose their own friends. You said your daughter would literally conduct interviews. And I want my children to be intentional about who their friends are. So if they don't know their family values, how would they choose the kind of friends that share those values? So I want my children to be intentional about choosing their own friends. So now I'm intentionally communicating this thing to my children. I'm teaching them how to choose their own friends.
mm. Alrighty, I think we have Dr. Celestina off again. And Dr. Celestina was talking about, Chineye said, I'm a witness to Dr. Celestina's result. Chukwuemeka Gube says, words are not enough to explain what happens in the inner circle. It's a tsunami feeling. Actually, that's the way it is. All right? It's a literal tsunami feeling. There is, the inner circle just gives you hear this webinar, you begin to actually, put a lot of things in it. So when we started the series last year, my intentional parenting journey, I realized that I do not have the words to explain what happens in the inner circle myself. I can't. I do not have the capacity because these are personalized journeys. Then we created the My Intentional Parenting Journey because we needed parents to come and share personally what has happened to them. We have Dr. Celestina Yusuf, and Dr. Celestina Yusuf is sharing her journey with us in the inner circle, and she's been talking to us about what the webinars have done for her. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, so that's creating a social roadmap for your Gen Z was one profound webinar for me. So now I'm more intentional about teaching them how to associate, how to connect with people, how to make friends. Then another webinar was this transactional families, creating a transformational family.
Yes.
Like I mentioned, growing up, the family I grew up in. I know my mom will usually then say that this her daughter is the one that will take her to Obodo Ibo. So there was this mindset that I have to grow up, make a lot of money so I can take my mother Obodo Ibo. So
Mm,
for me, that is not what family should be. Family should
mm,
be It's not about what I stand to gain when my children are now older. I want to be able to equip them. I want to be able to have a family that is home in every sense of the word. So I don't want the
mm,
family that is transactional, what I stand to gain, what I stand to gain. Like I mentioned, my younger one is somebody that if he makes a demand and he doesn't get it, he's throwing an adult tantrum.
mm,
So he grew up with this sense of entitlement. So that is
mm,
transaction in every sense of the word. because he wants to get. What do I stand to get? What can I get? So that's not what I want for my children. That's not what I want for my home. So that webinar taught me, okay, so, and then you mentioned some characteristics of transformational family. So when I was looking at them, I said, okay, this one, I'm winning this battle, and we're getting there. This other characteristic, we are not yet there. This is what I need to do. This is what I need to do. Because each webinar teaches me what the current situation in my family is, and then what actions I need to take to
Yeah.
correct that error. So that's one of the things that I got from that webinar. What do I need to do to make sure that my family is not the transactional family? My family should be the transformational family. One of our family values is we are here to spread our light, to show our light. So the world, I want the world around me to know that there's something about this family beyond just our four walls. The world outside should see our lights. That's what the Bible says. Our lights should so shine before men. That is what
Yeah.
I want for my family. So that's another webinar. Then honor as a skill. Ma, which one should I say? Which one should I not say? All the webinars have a message for me. Honor as a skill is another webinar that you said if you're not following a leader cannot come from you.
Mm.
So it taught me personally that, okay, that means these things should be intentionally done. Like I usually say, I said, inner circle is not about parenting alone. It's about your life, your person. Who are you before the children? So honor as a skill taught me that, okay, there were a lot of things I was doing wrong. Like I mentioned, one of my boss said something, and then I said something in reaction. If I was honor conscious, I shouldn't have reacted that way at all, no matter how offended I felt. So honor as
Mm.
a skill now taught me things I was not doing right. And then I had to
Mm.
start changing my mindset. So I still say that I'm a work in progress, but I'm certain that I'm not where I used to be. So these are
Mm.
some of the webinars. But the peace, is it peace as a skill? I will not mention peace as a skill. You said Coach Chiedozie is liquid fire, is blue fire. When somebody is
Okay, I think Dr. Celestina, so sorry we're taking a little bit more time because we've had a lot of network hitches from Dr. Celestina. And I love this word. If you're not following a leader can't come from you. And that is one of the things, I think honor as a skill. So next year, in the next year's curriculum, I was talking to some of my mentees, recently, and we were coming up with, so we're teaching new skills. Rest as a skill, honesty as a skill. Those two webinars are coming live in the new curriculum. Omo, hey, even me, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, wow, what's happening? So I was preparing the curriculum and I saw that the skills of honesty is a big deal, and I realized that so many of us do not even have it, and so we can't practice it. I'm sure that you're looking forward to that as a yada. So no, don't think that, oh no, 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 no. When this thing comes from above, it comes from above only. Over to you,
comes
Dr.
from
Selena.
above. So that piece as a skill was another one that, you said something that somebody is quiet doesn't mean the person is peaceful. The person can be quiet and chaotic. Is me. There were some webinars that I'll be like, is coach in my house? Is coach in my head? What is it? It is me. I'm usually quiet, but I can be chaotic. My
Mm.
actions, my thoughts. So peace as a skill is another webinar. The Seasons of Life by Coach Omolola was another one. There are many. There are many. But let me just stop at this one.
Amazing, amazing. The webinars in the inner circle, you can actually get to a point where you're like, hey, I thought I have heard it all. So there's a webinar coming up. The September webinar is building family legacies. That's one of the hit webinars of the inner circle. And even this year, we haven't done it yet. It's coming
Hmm.
up next Monday, and it is a hit. When I say a hit webinar, it's a hit webinar. Many people finish that webinar and they're like, hey, coach, oh. And
Oh
then
my
it's the
goodness.
webinar you're listening to. And you will now say, okay, when I'm done, Let me go and start again. That's where you see the real essence of documentation. That's where you see there's so many things get out of that webinar. I'm sure that those who have listened to that webinar and this year will have even infused so much into that webinar again. There is no one class you listen to in the inner circle that you say none. This
Oh,
is
no,
me
so
because I know that it just is a even if you do level 1 5 times, it can never be the same. That is sure banker. All right. When Dr. Celestina was speaking, she said something about her mom saying that there must be a black sheep in the house. This is a narrative I've heard, actually, for our generation. Our parents parented with probability, not intentionality. What will be? If I have 3/5, I have a pass mark. It is the same thing I gave to everybody. Why is your own different?
different.
Maybe all of you are there. So they come to a conclusion. It's not me that train children, it's God that train children. That conclusion came from their generation. Now, let me shock you. God does not
The
parent.
virtual.
God doesn't parent nobody. None. God protects your child. He has promised us protection. He doesn't parent them. If you doubt me, if you're a Christian, take your time. Go through the scriptures and go and tell me who God parented. Even Jesus, the Messiah, at a time, needed earthly parents because God wanted to show us that He doesn't parent children. Now, a lot of people say to me that, oh, the Bible says that the children will be taught of the Lord. I agree. But the Bible didn't say they will be taught by the Lord.
By the
It
Lord.
of the Lord by you. Who do you think will teach them of the Lord? If you have never listened to that scripture, go back to it. He that's why he told Abraham, he said, I trust that you will instruct your children. You, Abraham. So when God gives you a child, that is God literally trusting that you will be able to actually make your children become part of thy kingdom come. That you will be able to actually make your children bring out the messiahness of a child. I was teaching the other day in the inner circle, and I said, many of us do not know that there's a messiahness in us. So we don't pursue the messiahness because we don't even know about it. So you need to get to a point where you understand that these instructions are yours to pass over. I said yesterday that parenting is transference of legacy. I was listening to Sarah Jakes yesterday, and she was preaching about the environment. She's currently in Nigeria for the Spirit Conference by your church. Yes, that's House on the Rock. That's your church.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I was listening to her, and one of the things that she kept saying was the environment. And she said something. She said, because of the kind of environment I was in, I grew up in, irrespective of all the things that happened in my life, chaos. She has 3 children from 3 different men. Conversation for another day. Yet that environment didn't let her just go. So there was a legacy. When you listen to her, it's as if you're listening to TD Jakes. Literally. It's as if you're actually listening to TD Jakes. Same words, same sequencing, same. And I keep saying, you can't transfer legacy in absentia. You need to be there. If you are not there, then there is a problem. Back to black sheep. There is no black sheep anywhere. There is no black sheep. Your child, God didn't give you children so that you can segregate and say, at the end of the day, this one is a black sheep. In fact, you will answer to it because you have a responsibility to instruct. When people ask me to define parenting, I say that parenting is co-creation with God. If that doesn't scare you, it does scare me. That I'm co-creating with the Almighty. It means that the result of whatever it is that becomes of my children, I have a part to play. I am part of the miracle process of the Messiahness in my child. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. If I am not positioned to bring out the Messiah that I have been given, then I kill the Messiah in the child. Then I'm going to report back to the King of Kings that I was not able to do my job. So it is important that we begin to understand the trust that God has actually been given to us. The Bible says that He is giving to those who have given trust. He's actually expecting a lot. There's a lot of expectation. So it's no longer the I will just do what I like, do it how I want. And the child that will turn out okay will turn out okay. There's nothing like that. Now, what we are teaching is intentionality. In intentionality, there is none. There is no black anywhere because you are intentional about every process. Because
Every
every
child.
child given to us by God is a representation of thy kingdom come, is a Messiah in their own right. Are you saying that God doesn't know what he's doing? No, every child is created a Messiah. Alrighty, before I start inner circle preaching now, let us go back. So, what was the best book you've read in the inner circle this year? Share with us what did you, and then we begin to conclude.
Ma, when you say best book, it becomes a difficult one to say one book because there are several. But let me just mention two of the most profound. That connects to correct. That book, we don't really need laying on of hands for deliverance for some of us. Some of us just need to read that book and will be delivered. So that book, it taught me a lot. Now, I mentioned that I come back from work, my children are watching TV. So I was talking one day to a friend, and then I mentioned that my children no longer watch TV. She was asking me, what are my children doing for the long holiday? Say, are they going to be watching TV? Are they going for lesson? I said, TV, which TV? It's a thing of the past. You see, screen was a battle for me because it was convenient. I come back from
Hmm.
work, I'm tired. I need them to be preoccupied. I give them a screen. I'm in the
Wow.
kitchen cooking. I don't want disturbance. I give them a screen. They can stay there for the next 3 hours. So when I joined Inner Circle, I read Connect to Correct. No, in fact, the first month before we even read that Connect to Correct, I did cold turkey. I just completely turned off screens. I didn't give them warning, no, because I said this one is the violence take it by force. I
Right.
completely turned off screens. So there was the initial resistance. Mommy, I want to watch PJ Masks. Mommy, I said, no, son, we're not watching TV today. So gradually, we've forgotten about. I was telling somebody, I said, if you even come and steal the TV in my house, we may not even notice for the first 1 week that our
Hmm.
TV has been stolen because it is there. The last time we subscribed for our subscription should have been like January. The TV is there because it's completing the look in the parlor. So Connect to Correct taught me that I should build connection with these children. So by the time I was done with that book, I said, okay. So now I chartered paintings. In fact, I'm sure Relit signatures. By this time, she's like, waiting, this so much. I want to finish all my paintings. I bought paintings. Well, I've
Hmm.
brought out the Picasso in this family. Oh. We paint. We
That's
now hang
so.
it on the wall because we need to see what we are painting. So I got paintings, I got puzzles. This is what we now do with our time. So instead of screen, we're now connecting, we're painting together, or we are building one thing together. I did not know my son could be this creative. He's a creative kind of child. There's nothing he doesn't create with building blocks. There's nothing he doesn't build with building blocks. So that Connect Correct taught me that I needed to build connection so that correction became easy.
Hmm.
Now, I don't need to shout anymore to correct them. Why do I have to shout? I don't need to shout to correct them. Now, I just say it. And because we all know, okay, this particular action has this particular consequence, it makes it easier. Then
Yeah.
another one was Resolving Sibling Rivalry, the most recent book we're reading in the Inner Circle. That book, there was recently, okay, sometime in 2020, myself and my younger brother got into an argument. This boy was ready to beat me up with my heavy pregnancy. Now,
Hmm.
my brother came as the youngest son after 3 girls. So you can imagine the way he was pampered and nurtured. So growing up, I was antagonistic of him. So
Hmm.
that's how we grew up till now. So resolving sibling rivalry now taught me that if I don't want to have the same thing among my children, I need to start now. Ma, you said something that 80% of sibling rivalry is caused by the parents. I agree. I've experienced it. I know. So now I have to be intentional about teaching my children. The other day, my 3-year-old and the 5-year-old girl, they were discussing how they would settle a difference they had. I didn't know my husband was watching it. He was not gisting me later that he was just watching two of them. Ma, I said
Hmm.
it's working. I said that thing is working. You see that thing I'm doing, it is working. So that they didn't need to have a shouting match. So they were now
Yeah.
resolving. She now said, "Okay, Dotun, you will do this one. Then me, I will take this side." That's how they settled it. Because you taught us that we should allow them resolve their quarrel. We shouldn't be quick to step in as a judge. Because when we step in, naturally, I want to protect the younger one because I feel he's younger. So
Hmm.
now I'm now more intentional about those things. Then raising up boys, the other book we read in Inner Circle. Because of where I'm coming from, I now said, I don't want the same thing to happen to my son. So I started treating him the way I'm treating the boys is the way I'm treating the girls because I wanted them not to have that mindset of entitlement mentality that I grew up seeing. But when I read that book, I got to understand that it's not like that. Oh. Boys are different from girls. That is the way nature made them. That is the way God created them. So I cannot treat them the same way. So that book exposed that error I was making to me. So Inner Circle opened my mind. There are some things I would never have thought of. Ma, I learned Canva because of Inner Circle. Canva. So how is that about parenting? So it is not just parenting. So Inner Circle just opens up your mind and then teaches you that self-development is very important. So these are some of the books that I can mention now. There are several others, but these three are the major ones.
Amazing, amazing. We're live with Dr. Celestina Yusuf, and she's been sharing her journey. Her journey is so profound. There are too many things to pick from her journey. She's talked about correcting the sibling rivalry she saw from her home. She's talked about how her children became, how your children are coming out. That happens to us a lot, and people are saying, "What are you doing? What is that?" We want to know what you're doing. It's no longer, I want to come and shout off the roof. No. When you get into the inner circle, one of the first things you hear me say is, you don't need a lesson teacher. A lot of people, when you hear it first, you're like, ha. And you're like, what is happening? But if you're able to follow the tools and do what you're told, trust me, your child is gonna, you're actually going to be looking at your child like, hey, what's happening here? Is
Yeah.
because those tools, there's a lot that you need to do yourself. And if you're wondering, what are we talking about? We're talking about the Inner Circle program. And the 2024 cohort starts on the 1st of December. I'm going to allow Dr. Yusuf talk about the inner circle and also talk to the parents in the next 1-2 minutes who are still wondering why I don't know. I don't know. I can't get in. I don't know. I don't have money. I don't know how to join. It's not going to work. My children are very stubborn. They are saying it because their children are easy. Please, over to you, ma'am.
I have mentioned several times in this program that Inner Circle, it transforms you. It transforms you, and then the fruits flows out to the world around you. So Inner Circle is beyond just being a better parent. It's being a better you. So
Hmm.
don't you want to be a better you? How can you see an opportunity to be better and you reject it? So please don't contemplate. The only regret I have about Inner Circle is that I did not join in 2021 when I first heard about it. That is the only regret I have. But I'm not still too late. So the best time to have joined Inner Circle is yesterday. The next best time is now. Your children, time is passing. With every second that ticks, they are growing out of your control, out of your influence. So now
Hmm.
that you have the opportunity, is the better time. So please, if you're still thinking about it, please don't think again. This one is enough to tell you that you shouldn't think again. Just join. I can tell you with 100% certainty that your life will not be the same. Your life will not be the same. Your children tomorrow will be grateful that you made that choice, you made that decision. You cannot say you don't have time. Like I said earlier, if it is important to you, you will make out time for it. I usually see coach, I'm like, how does she do it? Because she has so many things she does every day and she shows up each time. As a coach, you show up each time 100%. So which excuse do I want to give God at the end of the day and tell God I know I was very busy? How? So please, Join the inner circle today. No matter who your child is strong-willed, your child is a passive kind, please join. You need the tools inner circle provides you with. I usually say that if you have not heard coach's voice in your head, are you even a yada? Maybe you are a backyarder, because coach's voice, it sounds every day in my head. So there are certain things I want to do. I'll now remember parenting is about you. My brain will reset. Is it in my dreams? Recently, okay, I'm in the Masterpiece Mentorship Program. You talked about compassion. You see that compassion that night, I did not sleep well. I was like, okay, if I had been a compassionate person all along, there are some things that I would never have, and there's some problems I would have avoided. There are some decisions I would never have taken. So it has provided me with opportunities to develop myself. So inner circle just provides you with that opportunity to keep developing yourself, to keep being better. The accountability inner circle provides, you cannot fall your hand, because you see other people share their results. You need to see something different in your life. So you also put in the work. You will do the work so that you can have the result. So please don't think again. Just come. Just come. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Celestina. It's as if we did this session with Dr. Yusuf Yakubu too. Thank you, sir. Uh-huh. Next year, you are the one that will do it alone. We will leave Dr. All right. Thank you for being in the comment section and live with us. Thank you so much for this. There's a new word alert, yadas. If you're not yada, back yada. It is only inner circle parents that come up with all sorts of words. Please, where is Coach Omolola? Please update our dictionary. Whoever is
Dictionary.
updating the inner circle dictionary, we're taking over. We're going to put our own dictionary, a whole lot. There's a lot that you learn in the inner circle. I am so grateful, Dr. Celestina, for having you here. You know that I love you. I honor you. Thank you
Thank
so
you so much.
much for being here. And thank you, Dr. Yusuf Yakub. I really do appreciate the both of you. You guys are a blessing. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for peppering us. We were really rightly peppered. After this session, I'll go and look for my own husband so that he can tell me good things. That I don't even understand how my husband came and peppered us. Then Dr. Happiness came and was in the session, in the comment section, telling Professor Chris II to actually buy her lunch. These women. I will leave people with the yard. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining. And if you're wondering what the inner circle will do for you, trust me. Sometimes, I when I started the journey through the inner circle, one of the things I said to God was, I do not just want to teach. I want to live a life that people can see and they can learn. So many people have said to me, I have just watched your status and I have become this. That's the kind of teacher I am. Yes, I'm a teacher. My father is one. It's interesting that I become a teacher. Yeah, that's the kind of teacher I want to be. The teacher who teaches and then preaches, who practices and then preaches. And for me, that's a key part of my journey. And I tell you for free, inner circle parents have also helped me to hold me accountable on several fronts. I remember when I wrote Walking Your Child Through Puberty, we had created a course, this book. We had created the course. Walking Your Child Through Puberty and Resolving Sibling Rivalry were two books that were created just because the inner circle parents, had pushed me. We had created a course on Walking Your Child Through Puberty, and when we finished, the inner circle parents came. I was just talking about it in a voice note, and they all said, "You know what, Coach, we want a course. Only inner circle parents will pay. Just create a course for us." I did. They were the ones that joined that course. When we were done, they said, Coach, no, 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 no. This is a book and a workbook now. What are you doing? I wrote that book in 6 months, tasking, everything. I had to hold myself, so accountable. And that was how the book, Walking Your Child Through Puberty, came to be. I remember that when we started conversations about sibling rivalry, I come from a family where my own father, had a very bad sibling rivalry system that I grew up seeing, and I kept wondering what could have been the problem. I know one of the days that we started to share the stories that came out of the parents, the things that they shared. And when you read that book, you're going to see some of the stories that we were given permission to share. It broke my heart. And I realized that, okay, there's really several things. And God told me that you are going to actually be speaking on specific matters in parenting. And that's how the books that I write, that's how they are. I have read Connect to Correct 3 times, 10 times, maybe more myself. Sometimes when I just pick up Connect to Correct and I'm reading. And each time I read it, I'm like, you know, I'm asking myself, did you write this? I'm not sure that I did. I'm not sure that I did. And many of the times I have lessons to take myself. So please get into the system. So this is not just a system. It's not just about, oh, it's about coach. It's not about me. It's about the spirit that backs up the inner circle system. I'm going to stop here so that I don't spiritualize like you people will say now, spiritualize the whole thing. But trust me when I say to you that the inner circle is a whole changing, life changing event. Thank you so much again, Dr. Celestina Yusuf, and I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for
Okay.
the lesson. Thank you for sharing your journey, and shout out to your husband again who came here to pepper us. We are well peppered, sir. So when you go to work today, you'll be very happy that you came to pepper me.
You achieved your goal.
When I was doing all that, somebody said, Coach, there is no peppering in heaven. No. You're the one that said this thing. I say, yes. So let's pepper here since there is none in heaven. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to
Thank you,
let
guys.
Christina go. Thank you if you have joined me this morning. This is my intentional parenting journey. You are joined in with me, my humble self, Wendy Ulugi, and I'm the founder of the Intentional Parent Academy. The Intentional Parent Academy is an academy where parents learn to learn how to parent. And if you're wondering what happened here this morning, Dr. Celestina is a Yada, and she has just come here. Yadas are parents in the inner circle. She has just come here to share with us her journey. She has come how and share how her children have become an edifix, like I like to say. And her husband here confirmed, her colleagues were here to confirm, yes, this is exactly what has happened through and through her life. Thank you so much for joining us today. Remember that you can join us right on Monday again at 8 a.m. If you're not convinced with all of these stories shared by parents on my intentional parent, I don't know what else to do. But hey, we're going to continue to share. Your parents are going to continue to come live to share with you. It's been an amazing journey for me personally in the past 4 years, and that can be your story. December 1st is our induction. Don't miss out. The slots are going. I have been told that the slots are no longer many because we already have thousands of parents who are already in the wait list. And trust me, there's a capacity we can carry. So if you do not meet up with the numbers of 2023, it means that you're going to be here to join for 2024, 2020, no, 2025, which starts next year, 1st of December. And you wait because we will not have the capacity to take you in. Trust me, the inner circle is one place you get into, and you don't need any other place to get into. That's the word. And hey, if you're wondering if we have a new word alert today, yes, we do. Backyarder. Yadas, are you there? Thank you so much for joining me. And if you're not a yada yet, please do not be a backyarder. Don't just go sitting and just, taking courses and just, please come into the yard. And for those of you who are asking about my books, here they are. You can get them. These books will transform your life. Thank you, and do have an amazing, amazing weekend. And by the way, I'm ready to pop for the weekend. I see you again on Monday. Bye. And the others, see you in the yard.